Afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. Today I'm joined by Caroline, and we're going to be talking about how to bridge the gap between sales and marketing. So sales and marketing alignment is so pertinent and so vital that I'm really excited about today's conversation. So Caroline, I'll hand over to you. I want to thank you obviously for your time today, but can you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Fantastic, and thank you very much. Really appreciate the invite to be on the podcast. So a little bit about our business. We are a full service brand and digital marketing agency. We're a small team. We work with a lot of service-based clients. They are SMEs, but they're established SMEs. So they have a budget for marketing, which is great. And that's really sort of, I think, how we sort of started off and got to know about lead forensics.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think I'm really excited that you work kind of, I'm going to say like agency side, agency world. And that is because you get to see different experiences across lots of different organizations and can kind of blend those experiences together to obviously help those different clients. So it's largely SMEs you work with, is that right?
It is, yeah, service-based. And yeah, I mean, they are businesses like ours. They're small businesses, often family businesses, and they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to generate leads, have calls, get engagement. Very much what we're doing, you know, on our clients' behalf as well.
Yeah, and often it's the most challenging kind of area because you've got limited resources, you're trying to do a lot, you're trying to get to that next level of growth, and so you know, actually aligning sales and marketing can be really fundamental, particularly for that sort of size business. So what we'll do is, I know you've got oodles to share, and I'm really excited to hear what we're gonna cover. First of all, what I will say is that if anyone has any questions for Caroline, I mean, or myself, but largely probably going to be for Caroline, then feel free to pop them into the comments, and we'll make sure that they get answered. The other thing is, obviously, today's webinar is brought to you by Lead Forensics. Caroline, you already mentioned Lead Forensics a second ago, and we're going to be offering everyone who attends today a free digital copy of our book that's been published, which is 101 Ways to Drive Revenue from Your Website. I've actually got a copy here. So you get a free digital copy just by attending. However, we're also offering a free hard copy for anyone who wants to take a look at their website visitors. So Lead Forensics is software that identifies your website visitors, and if anyone is keen and interested to curious even to take a look at who might be visiting their website, then we'll get you on a demonstration, show you how it all works, and let you have a free trial of Lead Forensics, and we'll also send you out a copy of our beautiful desk book, which is just full of tips to help you to drive the maximum benefit out of your website, which often, in my opinion, is the most underutilized asset in a marketer's toolkit. So the poll is on the screen now. We'll just leave it up for a couple more seconds, just so everyone can have a vote. Just whilst I'm sort of showing you the insides of this book. It's just lovely. I just love it. So we'll just leave that up for a couple more seconds, and then we'll dive straight in. I think that's probably enough time. Let me take it down. Okay, let's take it down. So Caroline, tell me a little bit more about the B2B clients, if you don't mind, that you work with, and we kind of touched on this a second ago, but the challenges that they face when, I guess, both getting brand awareness, standing out, you know, amongst all the competitors, and you know, it's a noisy landscape, right? And then also from there generating leads. What challenges do they tend to face?
Okay, where shall I start? So
big question.
Yeah, a mixture of businesses. It could be an IP consultancy. It could be who else have we got? We've got building contractors, surveyors, lawyers. It can be anyone. Typically, most of our businesses are service based, and you kind of hit it on the head when you said that sales marketing piece. It's always a challenge for marketing agencies, and you really rely on the client to report back on sales. We can drive everything to them, but they are the ones that pick up the phone, convert, do the final piece. So we do need that. And I'm going to come back to that with lead forensics and how we've kind of worked that into the platform, which is amazing. Challenges, until we worked with lead forensics, it was literally that we had to constantly ask them for feedback. So that's where we've used the portal to work the way we want it to work and to help our business as well, which is good. The importance, sort of coming back to your point also on marketing and brand awareness, it's critical. In this day and age, it's not just enough to have a website. It's not a plug and leave it. You literally do need to be constantly updating, showcasing. Google is going to be monitoring that. It wants to see that you're an active business and that you care about what you're doing and that you're doing new stuff and sharing it with your audience. So a lot of our work is content based, which is what will then attract the audience to your website. Wherever they are on their buyer journey, we've got stuff for them.
Brilliant.
And then bringing in the lead forensics piece, we know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
So, which is great.
Yeah, and then you can replicate that to do more of what's actually of interest to the audience, right?
Exactly. If you're answering the pain points and you're also showcasing yourself as an expert in your industry, you get rewarded by Google. Obviously, your rankings go up, and from a user point of view, it's answering their questions and they're doing their due diligence, they're doing their research. So that's basically what digital marketing is all about. It's answering people's problems and showing them in the most efficient way how you're going to solve them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you're working with they're not really sort of scale ups, like you say, they're more established kind of SME kind of businesses. Are you really working with them with that digital footprint? Is that the first place you go? Is like, okay, what does your digital asset kind of look like? And then kind of then start to look at their SEO and do PPC and that sort of thing. Is it more so SEO first of all?
Yeah, it's a snapshot in terms of their, like you said, digital environment. What does it look like now? And then most agencies will do a deep dive to get to know their audience, to find out, where do you want to take this business? If I didn't ask, you might be thinking about selling it in 3 years' time, which is a whole story to a relatively newer company looking to grow. So understanding the business better and their needs. Then, like I said, just, okay, well, this is where we are now. There's a few foundations we need to get right before possibly we'd even come to talk to you, because if we want people to drive people to the website, there has to be good stuff on there. Navigation has to be user friendly, and people have to know what you want them to do. So making sure we've covered all the basics, got the foundations in the right place, then you're looking to drive traffic, and that's when sort of working with lead forensics and having that extra data to improve engagement.
So exactly that. So you're looking at what's your website look like, what's it saying, what's the journey, so what are we conveying, what's the journey, what do you want people to do, what content is on there that resonates with the target audience based upon the fact find that you've kind of done, the deep dive you've done there. And then once you've established all of that, it's like, okay, how do we drive traffic to the website? And you mentioned like you say, creating content which can help to facilitate SEO, and all that sort of stuff. And then, like you say, lead forensics gives you the intel as to, okay, who is it that's coming to the site and where are they coming from? Is that right? Is that what you're using it for?
Yes, exactly. and to be able to share that with the client, that you've got evidence, we can share the dashboard, we can actually look at those companies. And sometimes they're not the right company, but then there's, within the portal, you can actually, you can filter them as well. So it's good. In the first few weeks, there was a lot of filtering, setting the kind of ideal client profile within the platform. That was super, because we needed our client to identify them. Especially, I'm thinking of the building contractor, gets a lot of calls from suppliers. So it was no surprise that we were seeing a lot of suppliers on their website. They're trying to sell them, building materials and scaffolding and extra stuff. No good for my client though, because they're looking for a different type of lead. So being able to filter those out was great. So now I'm just looking at the ones that I do want to interact with, and starting there, really.
Yes, I think you're quite right. That's a really important point, because when you start looking at website visitor identification, often it's like opening some floodgates, because obviously it's showing you all sorts of businesses that are visiting, so including suppliers. But actually filtering through, and actually one of the things that a lot of our customers start off wanting is to see everything, and seeing everything is fine, but actually you need the context to that, and then also to be able to filter that down to what's relevant so that it's workable as well. Because there's no point in trying to boil the ocean and not getting anything out of it. It needs to be that right profile, like you say.
Generally, marketing is like that. We are constantly testing things, seeing if they work, trying different avenues, trying different opportunities. So it's very much, and lead forensics are part of that. They're part of the mix. Great. We're all here together. We're all trying to generate leads for the client, because it's win-win-win-win. Having that flexibility to do that. And the account managers that we've worked with, they obviously work with a lot of other businesses, so they've seen it all, and they it's an opportunity to kind of tap into their brains as well. And between the client, the project manager, and us, finding the best way to use the platform and make it work for everybody.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting what you say there, because almost like with you working with lots of different organizations, you're able to bring the expertise that you've seen from across various different businesses to help each of your clients. In the same way, our customer success team can do exactly the same. They bring that knowledge from all sorts of businesses and can, like you say, look at the best ways to help you achieve what it is. It's kind of a similar kind of approach, really.
No matter that the business is different, the process is the same.
Exactly that. And it might be slightly nuanced, but like you say, ultimately the underlying foundations are very similar. At what point did you decide to plug in lead forensics? Because obviously I'm guessing you're working with all of your clients. Like, did you have like a knowledge gap? Why was that?
How did it happen? One of your chaps in the sales team, Ben, he lives in my area, and so we both network for our business, so we already had mutual contacts, and I think it was a conversation we had, and it was as natural as that. And then just sharing some local things. How important is local marketing and referrals anyway? We know that. So Ben reaching out and having that chat, and then the fact that you've got a free trial. He said, put a bit of coding on your website, see how it works, see what's happening. Seeing that's a great test, isn't it? That that 1 week free trial that you offer. It's, how can you lose? You see the evidence. It is fascinating. Like you were saying, it's good to see everything to start with. And then to be a bit more systematic. Is this right for me? I have to say it's not right for every business. So B2C, obviously, because of data protection. But because most of our businesses are B2B, then brilliant. Let's do the trial. Then he gets in front of the client with the platform, shows them what they can do with it. And I do like that after that, I can pass the sales bit to you. You carry on, you know, sort of talking to the client, explaining what it looks like, what the platform can do for them, and then bringing us back in when they see the value of it, bringing us back in because we're naturally working with them and can also support the whole campaign with our knowledge. We know this client inside out. We know what they're after. So that kind of fast tracks the whole onboarding process for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then, like you say, you've got Ben or bringing in the expertise of having seen lead forensics in action across multiple businesses, with your expertise of that sector and that client, actually making it to be as successful as it possibly can for each of those clients.
We added a service in after that to make sure it worked. So we've added in the nurturing bit within LinkedIn for our clients. We'll go in and nurture and engage and then convert them to a real connection. And we have seen leads come off the back of that.
Interesting. Directly. So how are you following up with that data? Is it mostly a LinkedIn play?
How are we following up? So I have to take you back to the platform and the pipeline, because we did customize it to work for us and the client.
Interesting.
The various pipeline columns. Our whole piece, because now we have this engagement package on LinkedIn, we made that work. So we'd go in and initially qualify on behalf of our client. Actually, we took a lot of the heavy lifting.
It sounds like it.
We qualified. Then there was a column just for them to confirm that this was accurate and they were happy to go ahead. So that it was an important piece. Then we would, into the next column, it's okay, we've started to make a bit of engagement on LinkedIn, we've started some conversations, or we've just commented, you know, intellectually on their posts or given some feedback. And then the final column, we've engaged and we have a natural flow. We know who their target audience is, so we're naturally chatting with those people on LinkedIn on their behalf. When we then see something interesting on LinkedIn, we'll flag it up to our client because they need to get in, do the sales and close the deal. They're the ones that talk with expertise about, you know, surveying or you know, an IP lawyer and your brand. So we do need them in there at that point. And that's when we flag it back up to them. They close the deal. We put the deal in the sales channel. You know, there's a little chat box for the sales. So that's positive for everybody. So when they check back into the platform, they see, okay, it's all working, and there was sales that month. So that's nice. That's good for us as well. That's a bonus for us.
And it's nice to know that, like you say, the work and the effort that you're doing is contributing positively to the growth of that business and their revenues, isn't it? It's really, really nice. And in terms of, so you mentioned that you're obviously getting this data, of this visitor data, and actually you mentioned something about, obviously it doesn't work for B2C, it doesn't, because you can't track individuals because of the way privacy policies and everything. So you know, but obviously business data, that's what lead forensics provides you with, is that business tracking. It sounds to me like you're taking like data, you're filtering that down, but then you're applying a really humanized approach to how you reach out to those prospects. Is that right?
It is very soft, and I love it that you can capture all that data, drill it right down to the person. We then go and do a bit of due diligence. Is that the right person? In fact, maybe there's a couple of people we need to just reach out to and try, and we do that. And it's ongoing. They stay in that pipeline until we've created a rule for ourselves. We kind of nurture and chat with them for 6 months. After that, if we're not getting any sort of headway, then we'll give them another category. It's like revisit in a few more months, but you know, push them down. They're not front of mind. It's good. I mean, it's got everything you want in there to make it work for yourself, from categorizing I love that you can categorize as well. So we've categorized, as well as filtering, you can categorize into, okay, well, like I said, these are suppliers we don't want to talk to them. They've got a little green spot next to them, but maybe they're already clients and there may be more work to gather from them, so that's got an orange sort of little spot next to it. So
interesting.
We're hopefully getting the most out of the platform.
Well, I think that's a really interesting point. Is exactly as you say. There's all sorts of website visitors. There are valuable ones. There are suppliers. There are people trying to sell to you rather than people trying to buy from you, and all of that. So to categorize and filter makes perfect sense. But also in what you're saying there is, within your kind of website visitors that could be of value to the business growth, you've got the new prospects, but you've also got the existing customers. Yeah. And that. And to actually identify that workload, interesting.
It's the 80-20 rule, isn't it? If you look after what you've got, they already know, love, and trust you. So and they're back on your website. Maybe they're looking at a different service now. So
we tend to find that a lot of businesses come to Lead Forensics wanting to get new prospects, and I think that's the way that most people end up procuring Lead Forensics. But there can be infinite value in tracking those existing customers. So are you working with your clients to identify different forms of visitors and then applying different ways to communicate with them? How are you doing that?
We're definitely always on the outlook for new opportunities. And often it's down to the services. So maybe an under-publicized service. Or something, the client hires them for one thing, but in fact they've no idea they do a whole range of other things as well. So it's constantly build like an educational piece, and that, I mean, you come back to the content again and you're sort of constantly talking about that and looking for other opportunities because your competitors are doing exactly the same. And it's just about communicating with the client, finding out what's new in their business. Honestly, sometimes just from a conversation, it will come up that, oh yeah, of course we do that. Yeah, but you never told us you do that. Now we can tell everybody. So
yeah. Well, and oftentimes customers don't necessarily know what you do in the full breadth of service, but also they don't necessarily always know what they need because they're not the expert in that sector. And so actually some advice and guidance can be really helpful for that.
It's never ending.
There's so many things you can do. One of the things, it sounds like when you're working through this pipeline, you really are dovetailing between what is marketing, of getting that, driving that interest, and then, like you say, what is sales. And I know marketing and sales alignment is something you're really keen on. Have you seen any, look, by doing that process, have you, how are you kind of doing that? What
process? Our clients have got a process now. They generally, clients, I don't know, with the types of businesses our businesses are smaller businesses. Maybe they're a small team of 6 or 8. So they're very busy on their day-to-day work. And the sales process, well, they're not naturally sales trained. With the best will in the world, they'll pick up the phone as soon as they can. But then do they systematically keep records of that? Maybe not perfect. But at least within the pipeline that we've got, then that ticks that box. We've got a record. We've got a record now. Traffic to the website, identify the person, go and nurture them. Nurture sales. That's it. Then we've connected it. We've joined the loop.
Well, and you can look at, like you say, your conversion rates through the pipeline on that, and then, like you say, track that back to, well, where did they come from, and how do we double down on investment in that particular area?
Yes, and we can use the platform also just generally to look at the content that they are digesting. And sometimes it's surprising. It surprises everybody.
I bet.
A certain service that we thought was kind of a little bit underrated and didn't need promoting, everybody obviously reading about it, so there is a need for it. So yes, we like to say reverse engineer as well. So
because it can really help with like a keyword kind of strategy, content production, that sort of thing, like you say. When you right for what people want to hear rather than what you think they want to hear.
Yes, yes. Or what Google tells you even, you know.
Yeah.
You've still got to check what the real people do.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
bad, isn't it? With AI and everything, like I think we can all identify AI content. We're smart, you know, we're going to suss things out. So
Yeah. Yeah, and Google certainly will suss it out when it's like say AI produced content. So in terms of how have you found, have you worked with any clients where kind of almost like putting together this dovetailed marketing and sales approach has boosted their conversion rates? Have you seen any successes in terms of like converting from the marketing to sales kind of piece?
within lead forensics, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, great.
Within lead forensics, and quite nicely, it's happened within a few months, a couple of months. I say a couple of months might sound a long time, but actually there's a lot of work to do in order to qualify clients, set up those pipelines, qualify the clients, do the nurturing bit. That it is very organic, and we do know that organic marketing takes time, and you need to invest in that time to do that work as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be overnight, but it becomes a flywheel, I'm guessing. Is that right?
Yes, and it's always a combination. And sometimes if they have a budget to do some paid advertising, that can give you a boost. So you can actually drive more of the right target audience to your website.
Yeah.
When we do that, yes, we do move things faster for sure. But generally, yes, after sort of a good 3-6 months, you're seeing results.
And I guess exactly as you're saying is like the more you're nurtured, because I know you were saying you talk to people for about 6 months. If you can identify new prospects or customers to talk to each week, you're just building that momentum.
Yes, yes. And then if you supplement that with maybe a LinkedIn newsletter that you can send out to your audience, well, happy days, because you've already built your audience and you've grown your audience by nurturing them. So yeah, there's lots of the fact that it connects to LinkedIn, and there's more stuff you can do within LinkedIn. Now you've got a bigger audience is good.
Well, and with a LinkedIn newsletter, you can have links back to your websites, and then you can track the clicks, so it becomes a circle.
Yes, yeah, and it's a constant. You know, you have to be doing that because, like I said, your competitors are doing the same. So yeah.
Exactly. And so you said, I know that when we talked previously, you mentioned that you use case studies quite a lot in terms of being able to build credibility and new leads. Is that something that you would advise?
100%. Case studies, testimonials, social proof, any kind of trust, we call them trust factors, where I can read more about a particular job or project you worked on. So you're giving me a bit more detail, you're telling me how it went. There might be a quirky story in there or some challenge that you had to overcome. Anything that actually helps me see you're a real company, this was a real project, these were some challenges you have and how you overcame them. That then allows me as the user to identify, well, actually I did want a new loft conversion, and I can see you've done one for somebody, and actually that's given me a few ideas. So yes, 100% case studies are gold. If you get photographs, if it's relevant for the business, then photographs, good quality photographs as well, help.
To bring it to life. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it kind of depends on the industry you're in. Obviously, sort of, harder with lawyers to kind of show anything there. But having a story, telling your story.
Yeah, and what's really interesting there is you can also, if you've got a story like that, there's tech out there that can turn that into like text-based videos and things like that, which really help with search as well. So there's like video's always been a barrier for SMEs because it's so expensive to do, whereas this tech that's coming out, AI tech can really help SMEs to jump on that kind of video search bandwagon.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's right.
And actually that segues to my next question, which is about like the future of digital marketing trends, and what do you see and what are your clients seeing? What are you preparing for?
Oh, the future. So we've already sort of seen this more tailored, more personal approach, I think, sort of coming out of the pandemic, and everybody's just like, we've had enough. You know, I want you to look after me, me and my needs. And we are, a lot of our marketing plans, we're spending a lot more time really listening and tailoring. And like I said, you know, we spend the time to get to find out, what do you actually want to achieve? What do you want to do? And that contact piece, the communication is a lot tighter. We want to showcase that we're giving results, we're, you know, feeding back. Sometimes we challenge them as well, you know, is that the right idea? I'm quite happy for people to challenge me. So why are we doing it this way? Reason, you know, it's for SEO purposes, or, you know, the fact that, you know, we've got to use the opportunities that we have available, keywords. So communication is definitely here to stay. More personal communication, I think. The fact that you've taken the time to listen to me and understand me, and it feels like you're my partner now.
Yeah, longer burn relationships, I think, like you say, are, you know, if you head in with like a bye message, it's probably not going to resonate. Whereas if you can, you know, keep on that nurture and exactly. And so just as we're kind of thinking about that, so what I'll do is actually, I'm just going to pop up the poll quickly again, just for anyone who's joined a little bit later, just to see if anyone would like to obviously claim a copy of our book or see their website traffic for themselves. We talk quite a lot about that. And then after that, if it's okay, Caroline, I'd really like to hand back over to you to talk through your key lessons that you have learned about lead gen, and if there's just like a couple of tips that anyone who's listening or watching can take away with them, what would those be? But I'll just do the poll first, so I'll pop that up on the screen now, and that is to, if you would like to see your website traffic for yourselves, whether that be new prospects or existing customers, see what they're looking at. It's really interesting anyway. It does blow people's mind when they first see do that one week free trial, when they first see their website traffic. It's like, wow, just this explosion of information and data that people didn't really know that they had. So if you'd like to see a trial, like to see your website visitors for yourself, then that poll is on the screen now. As a reminder, everyone who's attended today gets a free digital copy of the Lead Forensics book, which is 101 ways to drive revenue from your website. If you take out a trial off the back of this webinar, then we'll also send you a copy of this book in hard copy format, and there's guaranteed to be, I mean, even just one way that you could get more value from your website, if not a handful. So let us know. I'll just keep it on the screen for a couple more seconds, and then we'll go over to the kind of key learnings. Right, we're just going to drop that poll now. So Caroline, I'll hand over to you in terms of what are your key lessons that you have learned about lead gen that you'd like to share?
Okay, I think it is, I've got a couple.
Great.
Content, organic content, it hasn't changed, it's still king. And that reflects in your nurture, you know, keep it natural. That we are all wise to all these sales tactics and everything, you know, it's got to be personal, it's got to relate to me, and I've got to have the content there. And then I think another thing I've learned from working with you guys is you can actually make your platform quite customizable and make it work for you and your clients. That you've got, you know, ask your client, your success team manager, or your client success manager, ask him what you want, and there is a way. It is super customizable, and it can work for you. It will bridge that between marketing and sales, and it will make make people like me happy, your marketing team happy, your marketing person in the business happy, because they can actually see a result of their hard work.
Yeah, I think exactly as you say is that with Lead Forensics, and actually to be honest with lots of big tech companies that things you can buy, they often do a lot, and actually being able to distill that down to the stuff that's relevant and rinsing every bit of experience and use from that customer success manager to make your use of that tech as valuable as it can be for your business. That's absolutely how you get the edge, isn't it? Make it your own.
And that's what blew me away. It's, your guys are talented, they can help you, and that's what they're there for. So yeah.
I will pass that feedback on to them. They'll be very happy to hear that.
He's great.
Well, I think all that's left for me to say, Caroline, is just thank you so much. I've written a whole page of notes from our conversation. So I really appreciate the time that you spent today and obviously imparting that knowledge. And I just know there'll be loads in there that people can take away. Caroline, if anyone wants to reach you after this, is LinkedIn the best place?
LinkedIn is the best place. I think my name will show up. Go and reach out, touch base with me, and then any help, advice you want on digital marketing, get in touch.
Sounds good. So what we'll do is we'll test everybody's search skills to see if they can see you on LinkedIn first. And if you can't, come back to Lead Forensics and then we will give you Caroline's link if you can't find her. We'll make it a little test first of all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Caroline. And for everybody who's listening, thank you for joining us today. I hope you've found it helpful. Like I say, I've written a page of notes, so I certainly have enjoyed talking to you, Caroline. And then I hope you'll join us next time. We hold these webinars a couple of times a month, and we're always looking to kind of bring best practice and insights to marketers and sales leaders through the B2B sector. So hopefully we'll see you next time. And thank you again, Caroline. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.